Welcome, welcome. We're here at Vermont Marble and Granite over in Whitehall, New York. And today on this beautiful slate covered hearth pad, we're going to be assembling the Vermont Bun 2500. It has 2 3/8 inch thick soapstone veneer. All the parts come when they arrive, lettered for each part, and then there are picture instructions on how to assemble the unit. What's great about the Vermont Bun XLs and the 1500 models is that you don't have to mortar. A great feature about the Vermont Bun 1500 and 2500 and the 1000, the 1600, they're using a very thick soapstone veneer block as the veneer. And that heats up, holds the heat, retains the heat, and will radiate it back out once the fire is out. So what you've got is this very thick veneer, and you have the option of mortar in between the joints, which is very permanent, or you can dry set the unit, which you're about to see how we do that. We're going to dry set the unit today using our blocks, our pins, our splines, and explain all that as we go along. Thank you. Okay, so we're starting with our first piece, marked A1, and this is going to be the back of our hearth. So we'll get that into place and be right back to put in A2, which will be the front of our hearth. Okay, so now our decorative hearth is in place, and we're ready to start our assembly. We go in the order of assembly on the list that'll come with the unit. So we put in our A1, our bottom rear, our A2, our front, and now we're going to start with our first course coming up called B1, and it'll be on the left side. As we come up, B1, C1, D1 are always the left first piece. Your 2 pieces, when you get to B2, C2, D2 are all in the back, and then when you get to your 3 pieces, you'll be your B3, B4, B3, C3, D3, etc. coming up will always be the right side panel. Okay, so now as you see, we've got our outside veneer pieces, the 3 pieces for the wood bin. Then we've got some interior pieces going in next. To explain and see now, you see I've got pinholes, and they're going to stitch these pieces together. Okay, and we use, each pin is factory set, so everything's been dry fit prior to packaging and it's being brought to you. And then we're going to put these pins in, and then when that's done, we're going to be right back to you to show you how we put splines in these slots for the next course. Great. So we've just gotten in our 3, B4, B5, and B6 pieces. Now you notice the margin in between here and the height of those. We're going to build a shelf in here, and that's when we put our stove on top of that whole area. And below here, this whole empty area becomes the wood bin, as seen on the website and in the photographs. Thanks. Okay, so now as you can see, our platform is built. You can see up front, the wood bin's ready. At any time, we can start putting wood in there. Now our next step is going to be to mount in this instance, the Bun 550 unit, also called the N550. We're going to lift that up and put that on this platform with right to this point here is where the back of the stove will ride, because we still have our blocks to build on the back. So we'll be right back with you in just a minute. Okay, so we're getting prepared to put our stove on top of the platform, the pedestal. And what we totally recommend is you put a little cardboard. We've done it in 2 pieces here. We don't want to scratch the soapstone as much as possible. We don't want to scratch it. Once we bring our stove in place, get her right in line, then we'll tilt the stove forward, pull out the back cardboard, then tilt the stove back, and pull out the front cardboard, and then rest the stove down on the stone. We kind of want to avoid sliding the stove around on the stone as much as possible. Great. Okay, so thanks for coming back, and here we are. We've got our stove on the platform, the pedestal, the wood bin, whatever you'd like to call it. And now we're going to use what we call splines. How do I use that spline? The spline fits into slots that have been put into the soapstone blocks. they fit about halfway down. Now when I start my C course, C number 1, that block's going to fit right on, and that spline's going to fit up into the slot on the bottom of that block. Okay, so we just completed our D course, our side pieces, the piece behind. Everything's now ready with splines to go up to our E course. So we'll be right back and start putting that together. Okay, so now our E course is finished. Notice we're above the stove line, and that's to allow hot air to evenly heat the top piece of soapstone. So we'll be right back and show you the final portion of the assembly. Okay, so our handles are all installed. We've got my main damper handle. We've got our air wash, top of the door, air units installed, tops on, the grates in place, and we've got a little something special going on in here. Thanks for watching, and enjoy your bun baker.